Some people demand respect, others command it, without saying a word. They walk into a room and something shifts. No drama, no noise, just presence. And the difference? It's not status, not style, it's self-respect. The kind of internal weight that can't be bought, borrowed, or faked. That's what the Stoic carries. Not arrogance, but alignment. Not loudness, but authority. The world trains you to speak up, be heard, take space. But the Stoic doesn't fight for attention. He earns focus by how he moves, how he stands, listens, observes. Every motion is deliberate, every silence has weight. He doesn't rush to prove, he doesn't compete with noise. He brings such clarity to a room that chaos fades on its own. Because real power doesn't need a microphone, it just needs to be owned. And you can't own it unless you've done the work, the invisible work, the mental reps, the emotional restraint, the deep self-trust that doesn't flinch under pressure. The man who commands respect without speaking isn't mysterious by accident. He's disciplined by design. He's removed the parts of himself that were desperate to be seen. He no longer seeks attention, because he's already found clarity. And people feel that. They don't always understand it, but they sense it. In how he holds eye contact without flinching, in how he stands still while others scramble, in how he says less, but means more. This kind of presence comes from restraint, from not reacting when provoked, from not rushing to fill silences with noise, from letting your silence do the cutting. Most people fear silence. They think it means weakness or uncertainty. But the Stoic sees silence as a filter. The impatient reveal themselves. The insecure try to fill the gap. But the one who is sure of himself, he waits, he watches, then he speaks, only when necessary. That's the power most never develop, because it's not flashy, it's not rewarded instantly, but it's the kind that shifts rooms, earns trust, and disarms chaos, all without raising your voice. The Stoic doesn't need to dominate conversations, he dominates energy. While others fight to be heard, he listens, not passively, but tactically. Every silence he holds is intentional, every pause is loaded, because he knows, when you speak less, your words carry more gravity. When you move less, your presence speaks louder. It's not about mystery, it's about mastery. People respect what they can't shake, and you don't get there by performing strength. You get there by building it, in solitude, in discomfort, in the discipline of being unbothered while the world demands reaction. That's when you start radiating something different, not charm, not intimidation, but clarity. That's what pulls people in, not your voice, your stillness. And if you're watching this thinking, that's the presence I need, not fake confidence, but real grounded power, then you're in the right place. This is Inner Legion. We don't shout to prove who we are, we sharpen in silence. If you're ready to train that presence, not just perform it, subscribe now. You don't need to say more, you just need to mean more. Commanding respect without words isn't about silence, it's about certainty. People follow the man who moves like he knows who he is. No second guessing, no performing, just pure, grounded self-direction. And that kind of certainty? It doesn't come from reading quotes or mimicking body language. It comes from inner work, from knowing your values, owning your flaws, and eliminating anything that dilutes your presence. The Stoic isn't trying to be impressive, he's trying to be consistent. He doesn't overthink how he's being perceived, he sharpens how he actually is. That's why he walks differently, not arrogantly, but with purpose. That's why he stands his ground without posturing, because his confidence isn't up for negotiation. In a world where most people are overcompensating for how empty they feel, the one who's done the work becomes magnetic, not loud, not flashy, just undeniably solid. And when that person speaks, people lean in, because silence gave his voice weight. Respect isn't requested, it's recognized. It's the natural reaction to someone who lives in alignment. That's why the Stoic doesn't chase validation. He builds credibility, moment by moment, choice by choice. His habits shape his energy, his discipline sharpens his edge, and when he enters a space, people don't respond to how he looks. They respond to what he's become. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't compete for air. He knows people don't remember the loudest one. They remember the most composed. The one who held eye contact without blinking. The one who wasn't afraid of silence. The one who answered with pause, not panic. That's not a tactic. That's the result of a man who's been to war with himself, and won. The Stoic understands something most never grasp. People don't respect noise. They respect restraint. Not because it's passive, but because it's rare. In a world where everyone is screaming to be noticed, the one who holds his peace commands attention. The ability to command respect without speaking isn't gifted, it's earned. Earned through restraint when ego wants to lash out. Through discipline when your mind wants chaos. Through presence when your environment pulls for distraction. It's a quiet mastery, the kind that doesn't need validation, because it's anchored too deep to be moved by praise or rejection. People try to copy the posture, the stare, the stillness. But without the internal work, it's just performance. It collapses under pressure. The Stoic doesn't collapse because he's not acting calm, he's become calm. And in a world where attention is currency, he doesn't beg for it. He controls it, not by chasing it, but by earning gravity through who he is, not what he says. So now ask yourself, if you couldn't say a single word, would your presence still speak for you? Or would the silence expose what you never built?